This one's a straight NES port of the arcade game. It's even called Ninja Turtles the Arcade Game. And it's pretty hilarious. You know, everyone loves the arcade game with it had 4 sticks on it. You play as any turtle you want. You know, you fall in the sewer. It's like, no, who turned out the lights? Like all those little jokes and get pizza, everything, all that. This is the NES port of it. Like you can do way less moves. It was not as fun, and the graphics, of course, were 8-bit. But it's kind of hilarious to see them try to do the little single frame cutscenes all 8-bit. Like when you beat the first Rocksteady, like he jumps out the window and you jump after him. And like I can clearly remember what it looked like in the arcade, and then you clearly see it in 8-bit, and you're like, that's not as exciting. So it's funny to see him exactly copy everything in 8-bit, but it was still fun. You know, it's not as good a brawler as the others, Double Dragons and whatnot on NES, but it's pretty good. The last one is a brawler, pretty much following the same formula as the ported arcade one, but a lot better. You can throw people in this one. Throw people at other enemies, and it's really fun to play co-op. Me and my roommate pretty much got to last boss and failed like a week ago. First time we tried to play through it all the way co-op. It got further than I ever did in this game when I was a kid. But it's called Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project, and it's the first one's my favorite, even though it's not the formula of the rest of the Turtles games that exist, like Turtles in Times on SNES and Turtles Hyperstone Heist on Sega. Like it's the only one that's not a brawler, really. But the first one's really good. But this one's definitely the best brawler one on Nintendo for sure. We got RoboCop. It was an okay NES game. It was a port from an arcade version. The second level, I think, is the part I remember most because there's a guy holding a girl, that type of situation, and you have to shoot the guy without shooting the girl. And it was really hard for me to do, but I kind of like that whole like intense like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna save you. Try to shoot the guy off the girl. Batman, definitely one of the best platformers on NES. Some of the coolest music. You get tons of different gadgets. You know, the Batarang, whatever, the rocket launcher, gun thing. But Batman, the video game, based on the first movie with Michael Keaton in it. Really cool cutscenes. Or at least the Batmobile driving in between each level, I think. Looked really awesome. The music in this was really good. Ninja Gaiden it's like a little character just like Ninja Gaiden, and you jump from wall to wall. Like this had some of the coolest jumping physics, I think, in NES. Alright, these are all Marvel games. I'm a Marvel fanatic. I'm actually wearing my Venom shirt right now. You guys saw my Spider-Man blanket. That's what I laid out all my games on today. So I don't know if this is all the Marvel games, but it's all the ones I've heard of since I was a kid. But here we go, Marvel games real quick. Sucks, never play it. I only bought it because it's a Marvel game and I want it as a collector. But it has really nothing to do with X-Men. You can barely even tell you're playing as an X-Men. It's a top-down game. I never even played past the first 30 seconds of it because it's so ridiculously bad. But the cover's really awesome. You know, I'm a collector of Marvel, and it looks like a comic book cover is really awesome. The Silver Surfer game, it's just like one of those jet games where you fly and shoot everything like 1942 or whatever. There's 1942 type levels where it's top down and you're constantly flying up, like say this is the screen, you're the guy at the bottom and you're shooting everything coming down at you. And then there's also the flying levels that are like Defender, where it's side shooting level, flying level, but it's just like any flying helicopter / whatever, except you're the Silver Surfer flying around. It's Mega Man style where you can pick what boss you want to go to first. There's like 5. It's ridiculously hard. You touch anything and then you just instantly die. But it's fun. It's kind of a fun game. I use the advantage on it and just hold down fire, the turbo, because I'm a cheater and F it. The Punisher game. This game I never had it when I was a kid. Just bought it because I'm a collector of Marvel, and it's okay. I like it a lot. It's just like Operation Wolf, where you control a cursor and people are running around. And you just got to shoot them all. Except it's kind of add a little bonus. There's a little Punisher at the bottom of the screen as well, which really doesn't matter. But instead of you being the person in first person, it's kind of third person. But basically, like if the Punisher wasn't even there and you couldn't see, like you just see the back of him like this, and he's just shooting everything. Even if he wasn't there, it'd be the same game as Operation Wolf. You just move the cursor around and shoot everybody. But you have to add a little animated Punisher, like you see him pointing in every direction. Wherever you point the cursor, he points his gun. And there's little like newspapers flying around that you can shoot and then read it, and it says on the top of the screen, it says Daily Bugle, which is a reference to Spider-Man's in the Marvel Universe, Daily Bugle is like the newspaper that's in New York that Spider-Man works for. A lot of people work for. J. Jonah Jameson, everyone knows him from the Spider-Man movies. Anyways, you can read the Daily Bugle in this. Lots of references to Marvel stuff. I don't think there's any music in it except for like when you pass by a jukebox playing. That's kind of weird. Wolverine, never played this as a kid. Bought it though because I'm a collector of Marvel stuff. It's an okay platformer. Reminds me of like Mega Man, I guess. Platforming. It's alright though. I never played too far into it, but it's okay. Captain America and the Avengers. This is probably one of the best Marvel games on the NES. You can play as Hawkeye or Captain America. Captain America, of course, has a shield. You can throw it. You can block things with it. Hawkeye has bow and arrow. Just shoot everybody. It's really good. Side-scrolling platformer. I liked it a lot. Never heard of it when I was a kid, though. Just bought it, in the past year or so. Last Marvel game is called Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six. Sinister Six is, you can see him in the eyes there. It's Vulture, Sandman, Electro, Dr. Octopus, and Mysterio, and Hobgoblin in this rendition. There's a lot of different renditions of Sinister Six. Basically, you fight them. You go through each level. You're a little Spider-Man. Kind of reminds me of Spider-Man vs. X-Men on Genesis and SNES, the type of game it is. Like, you're a little character. Except it's really bad physics of swinging and stuff. But it was okay for the NES. Alright, this last section is shooting games. Ah, man, I gotta go to work soon. This blows. Okay, alright, this game might talk a little bit about. Never heard of it, but it's basically the first Rainbow Six, like the original Rainbow Sixes, not the Vegas ones where it's just pretty much a shooter, but like the tactical ones, the ones on, PC and stuff. It's called Rescue the Embassy Mission. And it's basically one mission you can play over and over, but there's different stages of it. And this is like one of the most advanced concepts in the NES game. It's definitely like SWAT, like tactical game. The first section, you play as a sniper trying to get in position, and you have to like stealthily move about, and you hide in the shadows when a spotlight comes by. Then the spotlight goes by, and you pop out again. You roll like behind some bushes, and you just got to get whatever number of snipers into position. And if you get at least one in position, then you can progress to the next part of the embassy mission, which is guys rappelling down buildings, but down the building. Like, you put snipers in position around this whole building. That was the first part. And you can have them on 3 sides of the building, like north, west, or east side of the building. Or maybe there's 4 sides, but I don't know. I think it's only 3. And ideally you want to get at least one in each side. And then you can pick what side of the building you want your repeller guys to go down. And then you can control the repelling guy. But as you do that, you can switch to the snipers that you set in position at any time to shoot any figures you see walking across the window. You'll see their silhouettes, and then you can snipe them, like first-person style. So if you're repelling a guy down a building, you switch to the sniper just so he can check out all the windows. If he sees someone, he'll blow him away, and then you can switch back to the repelling guy, and then he'll have him bust into a window. And then you want to repel as much people as you can in there. And as long as you get one person in, you can go to the third part of the game, of the embassy mission, this one mission. The whole game takes place in one mission that you just do over and over. And there's tons of different difficulties. There's like 8 different difficulties, I don't even know. And then you can progress to the third part if you get somebody successfully in the window after sniping, after getting a guy in position to snipe, and then after sniping, and then after repelling some people in, and then once you're in, you go through each level to try to save all the hostages. And it's a total first-person kind of experience, like the best first-person experience, action experience there is on NES for sure. You just go and you point your gun in any direction. The guy shows up, shoot him as fast as you can before he shoots you. It's really good. Like, how freaking crazy is that? All that crap I just said on an NES game. Like, I don't know. It's pretty in depth for that reason. And if you haven't played it, you should definitely check it out. It's a weird experience. I never expected it on NES. All right, here we go. Best shooters on the NES: Contra and Super C. There is a third game on Contra, Contra Force. Third game on NES that says Contra Force, but it's crap. It's just like Mario 2, but it's not good. Like, it was not the same game back in Japan or whatever, and then they just slapped the Contra logo on it and called it a Contra game. So the third one, Contra Force, don't get it. Even though it's rare and it costs a lot of money, it's just pretty much for collectors, but it's not good. Contra, everyone knows the Contra code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start, or select start if you want to play with 2 players, and both of them have 30 lives. But anyways, 30 lives code. It's Contra. It's hard. Never beat it without the code. Never will. Super C doesn't have the Contra code. Never beat it. And there you go. That's why I'll never beat the first one.